Now's a great time to be a fan of Mercedes-Benz. First off, their Formula One team is reigning supreme on international circuits, and the newly launched AMG Sport line is bridging the gap between base model Merc and the best from Falterbach. Yet despite these things, Mercedes is still viewed as a more luxury and comfort vehicle. This is why occasionally the AMG Performance Division is commissioned to release a very loud reminder that a Mercedes, though elegant, is also meant to be driven. This message rings very clear with the Mercedes-AMG GT S. The AMG GT S is the automaker's showpiece, housing a 4-liter biturbo V8 that churns up 503 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque. Power is routed to the rear wheels by way of a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. Like its predecessor, the SLS AMG, the GT S sports a distinctive long hood and short tail, but it is less of an homage to the classics, yet certainly inspired by them. The gullwing doors may have been clipped, but they're quickly forgotten as the sleek form of the GT S hypnotizes all who behold it. A lightweight aluminum space frame, weighing little more than 514 pounds, is what the sports car's slippery curves are crafted from. While seductive, it's almost a bit intimidating at first glance, due to the wide, intense fascia at the front end of the fluid structure worthy of its silver arrow heritage. Slipping inside, the cockpit of the AMG GT S bears the hallmarks of contemporary Mercedes vehicles, but, naturally, sports a style uniquely its own. The symmetrical layout has just about all the controls needed running down a silver chrome case center console. These controls flank the gear lever and command infotainment interface. This is the driver's gateway to all the car's settings. While many will make use of the navigation and radio functions, in a car like the AMG GT S, more attention will be paid to the inputs like the dynamic select dial, where throttle response, adaptive suspension, and exhaust valves can be adjusted to the driver's preference. Ditching the gullwing design also means not having to accommodate the massive roof-mounted hinges. The cabin is still tightly packed around the driver, but a fixed panoramic glass roof does wonders to alleviate the claustrophobic nature of the interior. Drivers and their passenger are tightly swaddled in fine Nappa leather-covered AMG performance seats. If there's a grand tour to be had, it's best to pack light. Cargo space in the rear of the car won't accommodate much more than a couple overnight bags. You don't simply start the AMG GT S, you engage a launch sequence, hitting the start button and listening to the breathy burble channel through the pipes underneath as the gauges swing to life. It's the first taste of what to expect from the drive, and I immediately want more. Preconceived notions of Mercedes vehicles prioritizing comfort are left in the dust with every press of the throttle, as the chassis channels home its rigidity up my spine with every road contour. Even with the adaptive suspension set to its most comfortable setting, it's clear that Mercedes-AMG isn't messing around with a pretend performance car. Indeed, the ride in this modern GT is evocative of the ones experienced in classic sports cars. Rock solid, yet still fanciful. It's a very distinct feeling that separates it from its coupe and sedan Mercedes brethren, which adopt performance rather than being bred with it. In the right hands, the AMG becomes an instrument, played masterfully with the right foot. Flutter serenely through switchbacks or jazz it up with heavy blaring notes with every sharp stamp of the pedal. The choice is yours, but the music you make together will be sublime either way. Regardless of your preferred style, the 4-liter AMG biturbo V8 is the most gratifying element in your automotive composition. 503 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque send the GTS from 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds. Its stiffness and low center of gravity, combined with the 4-wheel double wishbone independent suspension, means backroad bends feel as supple and smooth as the upholstery you're sitting on. Backroads are a tease, and yet it's where the GTS is at its finest. Carving through lush scenery is the backdrop this car was meant for. What's interesting is that the AMG GT S isn't set aloft atop a pedestal of hyper-exclusivity. Instead, the sporty Benz keeps good company, alongside cars like Audi's R8 and Porsche 911, cars meant to be relatively attainable and driven daily. It's not as subtle as the Porsche, but has a look more refined for occasions outside of the track than the Audi, at least if you resist getting it in solar beam yellow. What it trades in for comfort is made up for in providing the stellar driving experience we've all dreamed of. A rare thing happened at the end of my test run with the AMG GT S. I got sad. By week's end, the Mercedes had left an indelible impression on me. The combination of its beautiful curves, throaty exhaust warble, and distinct driving experience caused something inside of me to stir. This effervescence of emotion is rare nowadays, with performance cars focusing on clinical precision. This car executes its function with amazing capability and does so with trunk loads of charm. I can't think of a louder wake-up call than that.